Hello everyone and welcome to our webinar on AI analytics. We are delighted to have you with us today. My name is Lizanne, an account manager here at Cardiolog Analytics, and today we will explore NLP and PII analytics for Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. Firstly, let's get some logistics out of the way. Please feel free to submit your questions throughout the presentation via the Q&A feature. I will address as many as I can at the end of the webinar. And we are also recording this webinar and we'll share the link with you all after the event if you want to share that with a colleague perhaps. So that said, let's dive right in. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we will start out with a very short introduction. I will talk a bit about Cardiolog Analytics and who we are. And then I'll have a brief overview of the importance of AI-powered insights in today's digital landscape. And then I will jump into a presentation of Cardiolog Analytics' NLP and PII reports to show you how those reports should be leveraged for Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. And as I have mentioned, at the end we will have time, so I'll be taking some Q&A, so feel free to send your questions throughout the course of this presentation. So let's begin with that introduction. A very quick introduction. Cardiolog Analytics has been providing analytics for 365 for about 18 years now. We started back with SharePoint on-prem and grew with Microsoft to the cloud. And today we track everything from SharePoint to Teams, OneDrive, Viva Engage, formerly known as Yammer, and so on. So just a little bit about our vision as a company. This slide shows our evolution. Our goal is to help our customers constantly improve SharePoint based on how it's being used. So the four main pillars that we talk to our customers about are monitoring activity, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint and Microsoft 365 platforms with in-depth intranet analytics, insights, and usage reports. Our customers then realized that understanding usage analytics is often simply not enough, and they wanted a way to take action based on the insights gained from monitoring their portal usage. And then enhance. We want to make sure that we are constantly improving SharePoint and Microsoft 365 based on these pillars. The idea is to have actionable metrics, which will allow us to constantly make SharePoint better for our users by increasing corporate productivity and improving portal ROI. And then the final pillar is incentivize. We can turn the data into a game as well. So instead of just the admins owning the data, we can make sure that those end users have access to the data and can see how they can compete with their colleagues, get points and coins, and we conclude by seeing how we can turn that raw data into exciting gamification and leverage that within our organization as well. So natural language processing, or NLP, is a realm of AI that helps machines understand and interact with human language. In the context of business analytics, it's about extracting insights from vast amounts of text data effortlessly. In the digital landscape, platforms like SharePoint and Microsoft Teams are pivotal for seamless collaboration and efficient data management. And the integration of NLP and personally identifiable information, or PII, analytics into these platforms significantly elevates their utility. NLP enhances communication by enabling a deeper contextual understanding of users' queries, optimizing search functionalities, and automating content management. On the other hand, PII analytics are crucial for data security and regulatory compliance. They ensure that sensitive information is shielded, helping businesses adhere to global data privacy norms like GDPR and CCPA. Moreover, they facilitate detailed tracking of personal data access, ensuring transparency and accountability. And when combined, NLP and PII analytics offer a smarter and safer user experience in SharePoint and Microsoft Teams, harmonizing swift information retrieval with paramount data protection. Let's take a sneak peek at how Cardiolog Analytics' NLP and PII dashboards look and function. So I'll hop into a quick demo environment. Natural language processing, or like I said, NLP analytics, can profoundly augment both the functionality and the overall user experience in Microsoft Teams and SharePoint. So by tapping into these advanced analytics, organizations can unlock new levels of collaboration and productivity. NLP allows for deeper understanding of user interactions and content, paving the way for smarter, data-driven decisions. So let's delve into some specific reports that illustrate how NLP analytics can be leveraged in these platforms. If we start here with this particular dashboard, what I'm showing you now is a report that displays information for Microsoft Teams. What we present in this report is all the teams that have messages with PII information detected there, and we group it by different PII categories. There are many types of personal information, things like credit card numbers, usernames, passwords, driver's license, all of these things. And they are grouped into categories such as personal information, national information, that could be passwords, details, things like that, financial data, and technical security. So we grouped all of this data into these known categories, and that is what we display in this bar chart for a team. So that you can understand in which teams there are PII detections and from which category. So for example, here we can see that the research and development team has quite a lot of PII detections, and most of them are actually personal. So that means that most people that mention personal information, it was about the address of people or their name, some personal details about them, phone numbers, things like that. Here we have a donut chart that represents PII detections by category. In general, not specifically for a team. So you know in general for the entire organization how many PII detections you have for each category. You can use it as a filter as well. If you click on, let's say, financial, then of course it's going to filter the whole dashboard to present all the information about PII detections from the financial world and so on and so forth. So that's a really useful filter. There are filters here at the top as well, of course, to filter by certain PII categories. Just want to show you that, for example. You can filter by these categories I've mentioned earlier, or you can filter by certain specific PII entities, such as these, address or maybe passport number, credit card or debit card, CVV numbers. Entities are more detailed pieces of information from each category. So, like I said before, if we talked about technical security, then entities in that category could be the username or password. It could be the IP address on the computer of the user. And financial could be credit card number, bank account number, things of that sort. So these are all detailed in the different entities that are detected and available. Those entities are also shown here in the donut chart. So you can also use that as a filter and to better understand how many detections you have of each entity and drill down even further. Below we can see here the actual message or the actual messages to better understand where this data is detected, and again, to take action. I'll show you at the end how we can go about to take action based on this data. So if we know in the specific message that was written by a certain user on a certain date that there are some PII detections and we want to deal with that and handle that, we can reach out to the creator of that message or take some other type of action in the organization, or maybe launch a campaign. Like I said, I'll show you. But basically the idea is that we can actually pinpoint where those details are mentioned in Teams. So we can even go down to the message level and even see what type of entities or which categories of entities were mentioned in that message. Of course, we won't show the actual personal information, but something else like the entity type. So in this first message, for example, the address of a certain user was mentioned, and we basically show, instead of the actual address, a keyword called address. So we actually know what type of PII information was mentioned in this message without revealing the actual private information. Of course, you can filter this report by a specific team, or those are all of the different teams, or maybe by a specific channel to drill down further and see PII detections in specific teams and channels. And obviously, you can also filter that by specific date or date range. If I hop into the next dashboard, of course, you can look now at the natural language analysis dashboard that we can see some useful reports here, such as key phrases in messages. So the purpose of this report is to emphasize the prominent phrases that reflect the most discussed topics in Teams and their corresponding positive or negative sentiment. If we look at languages used in messages, this report provides insight into the language usage within Teams. So by applying filters such as English, you can ascertain the sentiment of messages specifically in that language. Message sentiment ratio. Analyzing the sentiment ratio in Microsoft Teams messages through sentiment analysis provides valuable insights into the overall sentiment within the team or organization, and it helps to gauge satisfaction, identify areas of improvement, monitor sentiment trends, and that obviously helps you to address certain concerns. Sentiment analysis in Microsoft Teams messages allows teams and organizations to quantify sentiment, drive positive engagement, and make sure that the decisions made are data-driven. For SharePoint, we can see similar data. For example, PII detection by category. Quickly hop into this dashboard. We'll show you the different departments. Cardiolog Analytics can identify departments with PII by category, which provides companies a way to effectively manage data risks, enforce appropriate access controls, ensure compliance, and respond efficiently to any security incidents or breaches involving PII. PII detection by entity type. Here, Cardiolog Analytics provides PII by entity type to enhance data governance, strengthen security controls, comply with regulatory requirements, and streamline various aspects of data management and protection. And if we hop into the NLP dashboard for SharePoint, first of all, understanding the sentiment breakdown of posts is crucial for company to gauge user feedback and identify areas of improvement. So this report, which differentiates between positive and negative sentiment and neutral sentiments, provides a snapshot of user perception, enabling an organization to proactively respond to user sentiment and refine their strategies accordingly. Let me show you by hopping into Cardiolog Engage. And then I will show you how this amazing tool uses all of these insights and data that I've shown you to take action once identified, for example, during a major transition or update within the organization, such as migrating to a new SharePoint environment. NLP can help monitor teams' reception and adaptation to these changes and send campaigns that offer additional support, maybe send them some resources or clarifications needed to ease the transition period based on the employee feedback and based on those concerns. So our first step here would be to decide who should receive this campaign. Do I want to send it to everyone in the organization? Do I want to send it to specific, maybe I want to send it to users who belong to SharePoint or to Teams, or maybe I've noticed a specific department in SharePoint or a specific team in Teams, or a person belonging to a specific team. PII detection showed that there was some sort of violation, then I want to reach out to the users in the specific team. I want to send them a message, or maybe I want to send a message to the admin of that team and alert them that there has been some sort of breach. So really depending on the data is how you will take action and how you will decide who your target will be and who this message, who this campaign will go out to. So let's just say everyone. So then how will this message be received? Maybe a quick text message or an email, maybe an in-app message right within SharePoint that will show up as a header or footer right within a SharePoint page, or maybe a message can be sent right within Teams. It will show up as a channel in Teams. Maybe recognizing the varying levels of PII data handling across different teams, and we can launch a campaign that educates users on best practices for data security and compliance, especially for those specific teams that handle sensitive information. So then I could maybe send them a link to some extra education, some more documents, or maybe I can just send them an update or whatever the case may be. So how will this message look? We'll have your text, you have your call to action. Like I said, if you want to send them, if you want to confirm that they've received the message, you want to send them maybe you want some feedback from them. Then you will choose an open question. Maybe you just want to send them that you just want to confirm that they've received the message. Maybe you want to invite them to some kind of training so they can understand what the protocol is, what breaches can possibly take place, so they understand even what PII means. Maybe some sort of training takes place, so you want to invite them to this training. So that specific call to action in this case will be to RSVP. Maybe you want to send them a link to some materials, whatever the case may be. Then the last step would be trigger. So how will we send this message to these specific users or these specific teams or specific departments based on the data? Do you just want to reach out to the person? Were you a flagged breach something in terms of PII? Do you want to get feedback from users based on information that you saw in the sentiment analysis? You want to get more feedback from them to completely understand. Have you seen in the data that there are users who are really unhappy and you want to understand the reasons for this. So you want to launch a campaign, you want to ask them an open-ended question, or when will this message reach them? Is it going to reach them immediately? Do you want to schedule it to be sent at a specific date or time? Or you want to trigger it based on their behavior. So when they are scrolling down a page, or when they are viewing a specific page or document, or maybe when they are performing a search, you know that this is a good time for this pop-up to appear because obviously they are active, they are engaged. So what better time for this pop-up to appear or this message to be sent to them in Teams? So yes, like I said, we believe that NLP analytics and PI are not just in the future, they are now. We have these analytics. We have a way to take action based on the analytics. So if you are ready to transform your organization's data strategy, Cardiolog Analytics is here to guide the way. So let's chat more about how you can get started. Let me first see if you have any questions. I see I have two questions. I have a question from Rachel. Rachel asks, what is the licensing for this? So the license is a yearly subscription based on the number of users that we'll be tracking. I have another question from Sarah. How does deployment work? So what's really neat about this tool, about Cardiolog Analytics, is that it is designed for SharePoint and for Teams, so there's no need for customization if you want to deploy or when you want to deploy. So with our setup with it, you can get it up and running within an hour and already start collecting data and start sending out campaigns. So those are the only two questions I have. It looks like we are going to finish sooner than anticipated. So from my side, we have a free trial as well as a proof of concept for people who want a longer evaluation or to try more environments and features versus a free limited trial. You can reach out to us and we can share more information about what is included in each. You can visit us at intlock.com to book your free demo or trial of any of the solutions you saw here today, the analytics or the engagement part. And for more information and helpful tips, you can also check out our blog at blog.intlock.com. And for more information, you can contact us directly at info@intlock.com and we will get back to you. Yes, so that is, I'm going to wrap it up. A huge thanks to everyone who joined us today and sent in their questions, and have a good rest of your day.